Hello everybody, I am Ace Creeper. Today I'm back with a brand new video. Today we are talking about this wonderful little thing. This is our first ever 5.5 inch scale figure for the 13th Doctor herself, Miss Jodie Whittaker. I'm very, very excited to talk about this. So yeah, I tell you what, I'm just going to jump right into it. But first, I want to just make a couple of things quite clear. So I've seen other YouTubers review these and do probably a much better job than I'm about to do. But what has been kind of a recurring theme is that when they're talking about the figures, people in the comments are arguing and disliking the video based on their opinions about Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, or their opinions on the quality of Series 11. Now, this video is about the figure. It's not about the quality of Series 11. If you want to talk about the quality of the Series 11 and have discussions and conversations about that, the best place to do that on my channel would be to check out my reviews of each episode, or wait until just before New Year, where I'll be uploading my Series 11 ranking and sort of overall review. So that'll be the best place for that opposed to here, because today we're just going to have a bit of fun, a bit of post-Christmas stuff, sit back and chill and talk about the brand new character options figure. So yeah, we're going to just do that straight away then. So the new box is pretty nice. They've kind of abandoned the whole original kind of cardboard box layout and went back to the Series 1, 2 and 3 type boxes with the cardboard backing and the front being entirely made out of a plastic window. This is a great decision in my opinion, because it makes you, it gives you the option to see the figure kind of all the way around, almost a whole 180 view there that you can see of the 13th Doctor figure. And any figure in this range. I presume when they release more figures, they will also be released in this kind of box. So the idea of having it sort of with a big window on so you can see all different angles of the figure, in my opinion, is a great idea, especially for toy shelves, and where they'll be able to see it and play about with it and have a look and go, oh, so this is the figure I'm looking at buying, okay, so I can actually have a bit of a look at it rather than just the one front window. Looking at the rest of the box, at the bottom you've got 13th Doctor, 5.5 inch / 14 centimeter scale action figure, with sonic screwdriver accessory, which we're very aware of. 5+ Doctor Who logo at the top, and the background design on the actual cardboard itself. We've got the TARDIS there, we've got a little TARDIS door there on the side, and we've also got a nice yellow card on the back as well, which is actually, it's quite nice, because with it being yellow it kind of, it bumps any other colours forward. With it being a light colour, any sort of darker shades on top of it will really stand out. So Jodie Whittaker's outfit, for example, being a bit grey, a bit blue, all that sort of thing, bit of black there in the middle, it does stand out a lot more in that yellow background, which is really, really nice. Looking on the backing of the card, which I'll be able to show you just here, we've got a nice little sort of information portfolio thing about the 13th Doctor, who she is, what she does, along with more of the yellow and blue TARDIS designs with the logo at the top again. But this time, instead of sort of showcasing other figures in this range, we've got other products released by Character Options for this era. So the 10-inch character option, the 10-inch 13th Doctor doll, the 13th Doctor sonic screwdriver toy, and yeah, that's about it for now, because they haven't announced any more figures or anything in that range yet. I presume when they do, they'll have a big selection of them on the back of these cards, but for now, it's just the other two selections in this era of figures and toys and merchandise. Got some legal stuff at the bottom, and on the bottom of this sort of plastic thing, you got some legal gunk on the bottom of there, as well as a few little Gallifreyan symbols, which is actually quite nice for a little design. I don't know if you can see that well, but yeah, it's really nice to have that. Looking at the rest of it itself, so if we take the figure out of its packaging, and there we go, we got the figure out of its packaging. So with my style of reviews, I'm not very posh. I don't have the cool rotating plate with the white background and the ultra quality stuff. I like to just have a look at the figure myself, show it close to the camera to emphasize a few features, as well as kind of a few pictures on the side of the screen, hopefully. Compare it to a few existing figures and just kind of talk about my general reactions about the figure, what I like, what I don't like, and that sort of thing. So my initial reaction is, wow, it looks incredible. It really does. It looks pretty much bang on, almost exactly like Jodie Whittaker. It's hard to show that on camera, especially when it's close up like that. It really doesn't look like her, but in person, looking at it from a distance, sort of on a table perspective, it looks a lot better than the face molds of pretty much the last few. Capaldi's didn't really look much like him. Matt Smith had, his figure had that sort of look of Matt's Doctor on there, but not too close, and then David Tennant had that sort of vague look, but again, nothing too accurate. this is probably the most accurate face and body sculpt for a Doctor. It is like having a mini version of the 13th Doctor, which I really do like. My major criticisms, I would say, would be the articulation is a little bit weird. With the most recently released character options figures, even the B&M ones, which I've got right next to me here, is the B&M variant of the 12th Doctor. I'm just trying to get Jodie to stand up there, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Something that is really new and obvious with the newer figures is that they can do this sort of T-pose stance, where their arms will have a sort of 90-degree bend, which enables you to put the arms up, so you can have the Doctor pointing his Sonic like that, or you can also swivel each leg round individually, so you can have one leg pointing a bit further that way, and then have one pointing that way. Whereas Jodie's figure has gone back to the sort of Matt Smith, David Tennant era of figures, and kind of removed that extra articulation that really worked for the later, even though it wasn't on many figures, but the latter Capaldi figure. Jodie's arms, for example, don't pull up at the side, they don't do the 90-degree angle, and if you want to turn either of the legs, you're turning the whole hip joint. You're not allowed to turn the individual ones even slightly, because if you try, it just turns round. I believe that is because these legs are reused from, I think it was Martha Jones, her figure, which is just the general sort of female genes, but you know, in the context of this, it actually looks really good and it works. I just think it's a shame that they don't have that improved swivel joint, but it is cheaper for character options just to replicate existing figures. It's a shame those existing figures happen to be ones before they adopted the new articulation type of thing. But saying that, it does have plenty of good articulation, and the arms and the legs, both arms can do a whole 360 at the joints there, each leg can come up and kick like that, and and the boots don't move either, but that's a bit of a shame. But overall, as a figure, it's a really nice figure, and it looks great. The main point of articulation that I really like is something that character options have taken years to do, but they've finally managed to fix. My Bill Potts figure, for example, actually, it's not even that bad of an example. But in the neck, there's a horrible neck joint, like a big slit in the neck, where the whole head is meant to kind of rotate round, which is perfectly fine, that's acceptable for a figure. But in some cases, like the Clara Oswald figure, the more you use the neck, the wider the gap gets, and it looks horrible and horrible and horrible. This happens with the female figures because most of the male figures in the show have collars built into them. So, for example, Peter Capaldi, actually we'll use Matt Smith as an example because you can probably see it better in the lighting, is that the neck joint for Matt Smith is underneath the coat and shirt jacket, so it doesn't actually create this ugly hole effect in his neck. What's great, because obviously Jodie has a t-shirt and has that neck area sort of visible, instead of using the normal character options design, what they've done instead is they've used a ballpoint head, which means that, yeah, you can do the whole 360 thing, and it's just the head. There's no neck joint, the neck doesn't actually move at all. But with it being on a ballpoint, the head, it means Jodie's Doctor, as a figure, can actually look slightly up and slightly down as well, which has not really been an option for many other Doctor figures. People may not think this is the best thing in the world, but it definitely creates some more like great poses kind of on display. Hard to show you in the lighting there, but Jodie's head is kind of rested back a little bit, kind of looking up towards the stars, which on display actually looks incredible. So when it comes, when it comes to the TARDIS being released, it will look really nice having her kind of looking into the distance, especially knowing what her Doctor's like. That would be really nice on display. So the idea of the tilting head function is just a bonus to them getting rid of that ugly neck hole. So in that case, yeah, there may be no articulation at the arms, yeah, there may be not much articulation on the legs, but the articulation on the head and neck is a win-win situation with that. You got rid of the ugly neck hole, and it has extra features, so that's really nice. In terms of accuracy, to the 13th Doctor, it's pretty bang on. The only two major things that I can pick out is probably the colouring on the shirt is a little bit different in the show, and the hair. And that's the big problem for me, I think, in my kind of perspective of this, is that the hair sculpt, the face, and the body is pretty much immaculate. But what doesn't work for me is the hair colouring. They've painted it with a really like high blonde on here, with a big black splodge on the top to emphasise her highlights. Now, the problem with that The only problem with that is you get this, and it's hard to see on there, but it just doesn't look great, and it looks more like a big black splodge on the top of their head. So what would be better is if they got more of a dirtier blonde, sort of a brown and blonde kind of colour and mix, and then use that on the whole head sculpt, and then put a much more subtle highlighted section on, because at the minute it just looks like someone with extremely blonde hair with a spider on their head. That's what it looks like. It's a shame, because everything else about this figure is immaculate. Everything, it looks perfect. It looks like the 13th Doctor, there's absolutely no denying that, and it is a very, very accurate face sculpt. It looks a spitting image of Jodie Whittaker. That's because they used a face scan for the first time, I believe. They didn't just try and mould it themselves. They actually scanned Jodie Whittaker's face to use this, which has definitely helped, because it does look like Jodie Whittaker. If you're a fan of Doctor Who in general, whether you thought Series 11 was very good or not, and you've got a Doctor Who figure collection already, this is definitely a brilliant addition to it. It is a wonderful, wonderful part. It looks almost exactly like her, so you're getting that accuracy, which is, I would say this is the closest to the actual actor's face that they've ever had. I think this is actually bang on. So yeah, even if you weren't so keen on Series 11, definitely worth a purchase for a sort of collection on your shelf or something like that. If not, and you just like Series 11 in general, and maybe don't have all the Doctors, still, I would definitely recommend getting this. If they're adopting a brand new figure range with a whole new TARDIS and everything, or maybe you're just watching the show for the first time and you haven't really got any merchandise, either way, it's a really accurate figure, and it is really, really nice. So if you are a Doctor Who fan, I'd absolutely recommend picking this up. And I think the best thing about this as well, it's £12.99. It's about £13 in the UK, which is just incredible. You're really getting your money's worth with that, because it's not even the price of a normal full figure. So that's pretty damn incredible. I definitely recommend getting this. I love the new box design. I love the way it fits in. In terms of height, a lot of people have been wondering as well. Capaldi was extremely tall, so obviously you'd expect Capaldi to be a lot taller anyway. But Jodie falls in very, very similar to Matt Smith's height, which is kind of accurate. But as you can see, Matt Smith is very obviously taller, but only slightly, where it looks a lot more natural. So I think, although Jodie's height may not be 100% accurate, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't 100% know, I really like it, and I think it does fit in very, very well with the rest of your collection. She's currently standing on my shelf now with the rest of my TARDIS boxes and Doctors, so it does fit in really well. It is very, very nice, it works, it's incredible, and to be honest with you, they've done an amazing job. So I really definitely would recommend checking out this, getting the link, whatever, and buying this product. It is definitely worth it, definitely worth your time, and definitely worth your money. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment below for any more suggestions in the future, subscribe if you haven't already. Oh Christ, don't fall over. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please check out the Patreon page and all that sort of lovely stuff down in the description below as well. I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.